Hello there, it's Samantha. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're here, hi, hello. My name is Samantha, like I just said, and this is my channel where I talk all about books. I hope you're all doing well and that quarantine isn't too bad for you if you're quarantining in whatever country you live in. Here in the UK, we have been put into lockdown, and at the moment it's only supposed to be 3 weeks, but we all know it's probably going to be a lot longer than that. Anyway, so with that being said, this is the perfect time to take part in the Owl's Magical Readathon, which I have never taken part in before. I've always wanted to though. This is basically a month-long readathon, which is hosted by the Book Roast. I'll link her announcement video down below. There are actually 2 readathons in the year. There's one in April, which is the Owls, and then there's one in August, which are the Newts. If you're not familiar with Harry Potter, which I'm sure a lot of you are, but if you're not familiar, basically the Owls are the first set of exams that the wizards and witches take in, I don't know what year, I forgot what year, I think it might be in their 5th year, I believe, and then in their 7th year they take their Newts, which are the next level up of exams. So they are 2 different month-long readathons, one in April and one in August. I don't know about August yet, if I'll be able to take part. Obviously that's a long way away. I don't know what's going to be going on in the world at that point. So yes, I'm going to be taking part in the Owls for the first time ever. Basically, for this readathon, there are different career paths which you can take, and then to do that career you have to complete the Owls that are required for it. So for example, like I want to be an astronomer, which means I have to complete the Owl for arithmancy, astronomy, and history of magic. So I have to complete those 3 Owls. In August for the Newts, I have to complete various Newts to become an astronomer. So yeah, basically that's the basic concept. And to complete these subjects, I have to just do a reading prompt for each subject. But because it's a month-long thing and I'm stuck at home, I thought I would maybe try and complete all of the Owls. There are 12, and you're not allowed to double up on challenges, so I am attempting to read 12 books this month. Let's see how it goes. But first of all, let's start off with the 3 Owls that I need to take for my career path. So these are the 3 books I'm definitely gonna read so that I can become an astronomer. So the first one is arithmancy, and so the challenge for this is magical qualities of number 2, balance/opposites. Read something outside your favorite genre. So my favorite genres are fantasy and contemporary, those 2. So I decided that I would read a book that I brought with me into quarantine, and that is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This is a thriller book, and I don't read thrillers. Like a thriller kind of horror sort of thing. I think more like psychological thriller is the better term. This is basically about, there's this famous horror film director, and his daughter is found dead, and everyone thinks that she has committed suicide. But this one detective is absolutely sure that this was not suicide. It's got mixed media in it, so like it's got newspaper clippings and things like that. I'm intimidated by this book because I am a massive scaredy cat, but not many people have said that it's actually like scary. So I'm gonna try and read this. Also, I brought it with me to quarantine, so I might as well. So yeah, this is the first book on my TBR. The next challenge to become an astronomer is obviously astronomy, and this is night classes. Read the majority of this book when it's dark outside. For this one, I'm going for a book that I just got approved for. I actually forgot the author, which is horrible, but obviously I will insert the cover and it will have the author's name on it. But this book is called Just Friends, and this is about this woman, and all of her friends are like getting into relationships and stuff like that, and she just finds that she's always putting people in the friend zone. I'm trying to remember the synopsis off the top of my head. So yeah, she finds that she's always putting people in the friend zone. She hasn't really found the love of her life. And then she starts to look at this friend who she's had from university. She starts to see him in a different light. And I think it's like a friends to lovers romance, which I really like, as well as like enemies to lovers. I love that trope too. I basically just love most of the romantic tropes because my love life is non-existent, so I like reading about other people's. Anyway, that's that book. This is a book I got from NetGalley, and I'm very excited to read it. Also, it's a rom-com, and I like to read like light, fun things before I go to bed. I think this will be a good one. The final challenge that I need to complete for my career path is History of Magic, and that is The Witch Hunts, a book featuring witches/wizards. For that one, I'm going to listen to the audiobook of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I started rereading these books maybe last year, maybe the year before, and basically I just don't love this particular book, so it always takes me a really long time to get through. So I have actually started listening to the audiobook, but like a long time ago. So I'm going to start from the beginning, because also you're not allowed to, you have to start and finish the book within the Owls. So I need to start this one from the beginning, but I do intend to listen to Order of the Phoenix, because also I just find Harry Potter so comforting, and I think this is a really good time to reread Harry Potter because everything is crazy at the moment. Those are the 3 that I'm definitely going to try and read this month. Now moving on to the other 9, which I want to read. So the next subject is Ancient Runes, and that is for the Heart Rune, and the challenge is to read a book with a heart on the cover or in the title. So for this one, I'm going for Love Hurts by Mallory Blackman. This is actually a collection of short stories all about romance or different types of love. It's an anthology, and Mallory Blackman put it all together. This is a book that I requested from NetGalley years ago, and I still haven't read, so I do plan on reading this during the month because better late than never, am I right? The next subject is Care of Magical Creatures, and that is Hippogriffs. Read a book which features a creature with a beak on the cover. For this one, I'm going for Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I started trying to read this book maybe like 3 years ago, I think, and I just could not get into it for the life of me. So I picked up the audiobook, and I plan on listening to the audiobook version of this. The next subject is Charms, and that is Lumos Maxima. Read a book with white on the cover. For this one, I'm going for another NetGalley book, which I requested a long time ago because I'm the worst, and that is A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. I don't really know what else happens, but I've heard it's really sweet and a really good read, and yeah, so I really want to read it, and I just haven't yet because I'm the worst. The next subject is Defense Against the Dark Arts, and that is Grindylows, a book set at the sea or coast. For this one, I have actually the perfect one. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to read for this, and then I realized I literally just finished The Dark Days Club, and the second book, The Dark Days Pact, takes place in Brighton, and Brighton is by the sea. So this is perfect. If you don't know, The Dark Days Club is a book about our main character, Lady Helen, and she's just, you know, living her life, you know, going to balls, worrying about who she's gonna marry, stuff like that. But she's always been a bit odd, and her mum was a bit odd. She finds out that actually there are these things called deceivers, which are basically like demons. And she is what is called a reclaimer, which is basically like a demon hunter. It's definitely got vibes of the Infernal Devices, especially because it's like historical urban fantasy set in London in the 1800s about demon hunting. So it's definitely got Infernal Devices vibes, but obviously the Infernal Devices is 1,000 times better. But I did actually quite enjoy the first book, and I do think it was a lot of setup, and I think this one will be a lot better. So I'm very excited to read this. The next subject is Divination, and that is Third Eye. Assign numbers to your TBR and use a random number generator to pick your read. So for this, I'm going to go to my handy dandy Kindle app, and basically I'm just going to look at all my unread ones. I have 162 unread books on my Kindle. So I'm going to go to the internet and put in a random number generator, and yeah, so I'm going to put in 1 to 162, and whichever book comes up, I will read that, unless obviously it is a sequel, in which case I will start with the first book. Okay, I got 39. Let's see what book is number 39. I got something called Someone Else, Somewhere Else, a short story by Janelle Jacques Pierre. I think this is a book that I got for free. That's good. This says that apparently it takes less than 30 minutes to read, so this is perfect. I don't really know what this book is about. I think this is one that I got when I first started getting back into reading when I was like 14, and I used to go on the Kindle store and look at all the books that were free and download like all of them. Anyway, so I think it's one of those. This is perfect because I have a lot of long books on my list. So yeah, we're gonna read that. The next subject is Herbology, and the challenge for this is Mimblelus Mimbletonia, a title that starts with an M. For this one, I'm going to reread one of my favorite books of all time. Potentially. I have two options for this. I'm either going to reread The Martian by Andy Weir, and I'm going to listen to this on audio. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I've already read it twice, so this will be a reread for me. My plan is to listen to The Martian again. If not though, if I change my mind, I will read the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. The actual book doesn't start with an M, so that's why I don't really want to go with this one, because technically it's kind of cheating, but a lot of people refer to it as Mistborn, and that is the name of the trilogy. I feel like it counts, but the actual first book is called The Final Empire. This is a fantasy trilogy which I've been meaning to read for ages. Depending on how I'm feeling with the reading, I might listen to The Martian, or I will read the first book in the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. The next subject is Muggle Studies, and that is a book from a perspective of a Muggle, or like basically a contemporary. And I'm going to go for another one which I requested from NetGalley, and that is called It Sounded Better in My Head. And again, I've forgotten the author because I literally just requested it. This is about a girl, and basically her parents are getting divorced, and it's just come out of nowhere, and no one seems to be really reacting to it, so she's just very confused. And then her two best friends start a relationship, and so she starts to feel really left out, and then there's a romance aspect, like some new person comes to town or something and they start up a romance. And yeah, I just think it's going to be a really cute, fun story with obviously the slightly heavier aspect of divorced parents. The next subject is Potions, and that is Shrinking Solution. Read a book under 150 pages. So for this one, I'm going to read Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is a book that I read when I was younger. Obviously, I feel like a lot of people did. I loved it a lot. I looked through like all the editions on Goodreads to try and find one that was under 150 pages, because this is a really short book, but a lot of them have like bonus pages and stuff like that, and I found one which is only 145 pages, so yes, it is technically under 150 pages, so I will be reading it. I might listen to the audiobook. The last subject is Transfiguration, and that is Animagus Lecture. Read a book / series that includes shapeshifting. So for this one, I'm going to be reading the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I will be listening to that on audio. I don't actually remember if there's any shapeshifting in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, but The series does include shapeshifting, obviously. So I am gonna read this one and count it anyway. Oh my god, that was so much talking. Those are so many books. Let's see if I can do it. So yes, that is my TBR for the owls. I'm not gonna put anything else on my April TBR. I don't really do TBRs frequently, and a lot of this is obviously subject to change. I might read other books that also fit the categories because I am a mood reader. It might be that I don't feel like reading that book at the time, but we'll see. If you're taking part in the Owls Readathon, please let me know down below and let me know what your TBR is. Let me know what career path you're taking, or if you're gonna try and complete all of the challenges like I'm trying to do. And yeah, just let me know. I'd love to have a conversation with you down in the comments. Links to all my social media are always down below as well if you're interested. But that is so much talking, so I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please hit a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below. And I'm hoping to post a lot of videos during my self-isolation time, so I will see you next time. Bye!